Argentina is testing a new playbook to pull in major mining capital, and AbraSilver wants its flagship Diablillos silver gold project at the front of that queue. The company has just filed to have Diablillos included in the country's new large investment incentive regime, or as it's known, RIGI. And joining me to unpack that effort and what it could mean for investors is John Miniotis, President and CEO of AbraSilver Resource Corp. John, it's a pleasure. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me.
Look, so, before we get into the technical stuff, let's just raise the curtain here for viewers, all right? You look at Diablillos. It's a high-altitude gold-silver project that's edging towards development.
Yeah.
In the simplest of terms, how would you describe what's happening there and why it matters?
Yeah, so I'd say the last year for us at Diablillos, over the last few years, but in particular 2025 has truly been transformational for the company.
Yeah.
This has gone from being a high quality exploration story to now, as you mentioned, we're sitting in the front of the queue as the next major primary silver mine in the development queue here. We're looking to make a construction decision within the next 12 months. So this is really grown, literally. I mean, it's grown significantly in terms of ounces in the ground. We have now 350 million ounces on a silver equivalent basis. So one of the largest primary silver deposits out there globally at this stage of development. I'd say, we're really advancing on the RIGI front, which we'll talk about, on the permitting front, which is expected imminently here. So lots of major milestones coming up, and the next year is really a transformational year where we're looking to take this into a construction decision.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the RIGI right now. As I understand it, this is a federal framework that allows or offers some benefits on the tax, on the foreign exchange front, on the customs front. Now, if your project starts really benefiting from this, how does that translate into numbers? Because you're looking forward to this one.
It's really a transformational sort of set of legislation here. And so Argentina, for many decades, has always had the geological potential, very similar, of course, to its neighboring country, Chile, which is, of course, the largest copper producer in the world. And so Argentina's always had that potential, but there's always been certain obstacles that have made it difficult for foreign companies investing in the country. And so high export duties were always something that concerned investors. Again, foreign exchange restrictions, where it's been difficult to get historically money out of the country. Now with this RIGI legislation that's in effect by President Milei and his current administration, it entirely removes those barriers of entry. Mm-hmm. And in fact, it's rolling out the red carpet for foreign direct investment into the country. And in particular, they're seeing mining, oil and gas, infrastructure as being major economic catalysts for the country going forward. And so what this does for a project of our size, again, is on the quantitative side, current gold and silver prices, just by lowering the taxes from 35% to 25%, and by removing the export duties, we'd be saving over $1 billion US in free cash flow over the life of mine.
Yeah, now those are attractive numbers. And then you also have this environmental impact assessment decision. Okay, granted, it's going to happen later on, I think next month. Explain to me where we are in that process.
Sure. So again, so now the EIA process is done at the provincial level. And so we're sitting on the border of Salta and Catamarca, two very mining-friendly provinces. We submitted our EIA application last year, back in 2024. And so now we're very far into that process. We have good visibility. We expect to receive that EIA approval imminently, I would say, if not later this year, certainly at the start of 2026. And so we're very far along in the process. We've been working, have great relationships with all the provincial mining authorities, et cetera. And so we have good visibility there, I would say. Fully expect that to be a major catalyst, again, coming up within the next several weeks. Yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned both Salta and Catamarca, right? Mm-hmm. Because, these are provinces that have opted into the RIGI program. Yes. And I'm wondering, how important is that provincial backing? I mean, I suppose for a project like yours, because on the other hand, you'll also have investors still worry about mining policy stability in Argentina. But it's interesting to see what these provinces are doing.
Yes. Yeah, so Salta has always been ranked consistently by the Fraser Institute and by several other well-known surveys as being the most mining-friendly province within, not only in Argentina, but also they've received the #1 ranking in all of Latin America as the most mining sort of attractive jurisdiction for mining opportunities. And so Salta, Catamarca, both excellent jurisdictions. As you say, they have opted in to RIGI, which is obviously, again, this transformational new legislation. RIGI has received, to date, over $15 billion of new projects being approved. And so it's really setting sort of a new record for Argentina, seeing billions of dollars of new investments coming in. And again, it's across all sectors, but mining is really obviously a major focus. And so we submitted our RIGI application a few weeks ago. We expect to receive that in the first quarter of next year. And that would really put us on track to then making a construction decision later on in 2026.
Yeah, I want to talk about that decision because, like you say, it really is dependent as well on what happens on the RIGI front, what happens on the assessment front. What's the roadmap from that construction decision? What are you looking at?
So between now and the construction decision, we have some major milestones. So we talked about the EIA approval, which we're expecting shortly, RIGI approval, we're expecting that shortly, and then we'll finalize our feasibility study. So right now we're working on a definitive feasibility study. That would be the final engineering study, obviously, that we'll publish as soon as that's ready, early next year. And then from there, it's really, you have everything in place to start construction, other than obviously project financing. And so this would require over $550 million US to build. Right now in the current environment, again, there's lots of opportunities for the project financing. So we'll be evaluating those in detail next year. Early on in the new year, we'll look to evaluate project financing in a lot more detail. But yeah, basically a traditional blend of potential equity, some debt, and right now the streaming sort of option is on the table as well. And we've seen some very, very attractive terms with a potential small stream that could help us bring in a major portion of the upfront capex.
And as I wrap up, John, I mean, I'm very interested to know, what should investors think about when they consider those options in? The biggest takeaway in terms for you that is compelling about this project, what is it?
Yeah, I'd say it's scarcity, scale, grade, obviously. And so, yeah, if you're looking to invest in silver, there's very few high quality, advanced stage development projects out there. I'd say this certainly ranks towards the top of the pile here, being a large scale, advanced stage project now in the final stages of making a construction decision. And so we have some very, very big catalysts coming up in the new year. But then again, on the exploration side, we continue to encounter high-grade mineralization here. So it's quite unique for a company of our stage. Typically, as you're wrapping up your feasibility study, you've drilled off the mineralization, and you're now just looking to take this towards a construction decision. Our exploration team has just done a phenomenal job for us year after year after year, and we're still growing the resource. So right now, the open pit is supposed to be over 2 kilometers across. So the strike length is over 2 kilometers, and we're stepping out and still hitting high-grade zones here. And so we still offer that, exploration upside, which has obviously worked very well for our investors over the last several years. That's going to continue. But in parallel to that, we're going to be advancing this project forward, making a construction decision next year, and it gets really exciting as you can have production in 2029.
Look, it sounds compelling. We're going to keep our eye on it. John Miniotis, President and CEO of AbraSilver Resource Corp. Thanks very much indeed for your time.
My pleasure. Thanks very much again.